I just found out my girlfriend is lying about being on a trip. I hate to break the news, but this doesn't look good. I have an idea. My spidey senses. My sassy senses. My sassy oh my god. Hello! My sassy senses. There's no sense in there today. This story was first posted September 24th, 2024. My girlfriend Amy and I were on our first date around 1.5 years ago. Took things slowly while being exclusive and have been officially dating for 1 year. Overall, the relationship has been pretty good, minus some small hiccups in communication that she chalks up to her neurodivergence. Amy isn't great with texting, which I thought was a red flag at first until I found out that she's just like that with almost everyone, most of her friends and family included. To give a little background, Amy and a few of her girlfriends go to this conference a few states over twice per year. It's a 2-day event, which they usually turn into a 5-day vacation because it requires a flight and hotel and is a nice city. Amy's friend group is typically very active on social media during these trips, posting on their Instagram story during all points, flights, conference, beach, etc. This weekend was supposed to be their 3rd time attending. Amy and her friends have had their flights and hotels booked for a few months, confirmed by some on their posts on social media, being excited about having everything booked. Unfortunately, the conference was canceled, but they already booked everything, so they decided to still enjoy a vacation. My girlfriend and I had a date night last weekend. She was telling me how excited she was for her trip, all was good, but at the end of the date, I caught a glimpse of Amy's phone. She was on her airline app and it looked like she was reading cancellation policies. We had a long day and I was tired and I felt like I was snooping or being nosy, so I didn't say anything. During the week, I asked Amy to hang out the day before the flight, emphasizing that I wanted to see her before her trip. Unfortunately, she was meeting up with her group of coworker friends, so she couldn't. No worries. The morning of her flight, I texted her wishing her a safe flight and happy trip, and she liked my message. We haven't talked since. As I said, she's not a big texter, so we usually don't text much besides planning dates and in emergencies. I figured she was on her trip, so I haven't texted to plan a date. Now onto the meat of the issue. Amy is now supposed to be a few days into her trip, and I noticed none of her friends were posting on Instagram. I thought it was weird because they usually post a lot, but I shrugged it off. That was until tonight. Amy started posting videos of her at a show. It looked fun and I didn't think twice about it. Until the ending, where the show host called out, "Thank you," and then the name of the major city nearby where we live. Approximately a 30-minute drive. You know, like at the end of a concert, we're like, "Thank you, New York City!" That's what he means. I looked up the name of the show and of course it was in that nearby city this weekend, meaning she wasn't on that vacation after all and never thought to say anything to me about it. I did a little snooping on Venmo and found out that over 2 weeks ago, Amy's friend paid her back the money that Amy had sent her for the hotel and car rental. Yeah, the trip was totally canceled. So she's known the trip was canceled for 2 weeks and hasn't said anything to me every time I brought it up. Yeah, and last weekend she was saying how excited she was. Where do I go from here? I feel like I'm suddenly spiraling, going crazy, overthinking everything lately to see if I've missed any signs. I've already started assuming the worst and I'm panicking. I'm out of town for the weekend and I feel like this has totally thrown off my trip. Is this worth a conversation or is the relationship already over? Is there any reason she would have not said anything by now? Even if she tells me the trip was canceled right when I see her before I confront her, would that still justify not telling me until after the trip? Please, any advice is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Edit. Her best friend just uploaded a picture of them together during the show, so I know she wasn't there with some other guy, but that doesn't explain the lying. Okay, but there could be guys there just because he's not in the selfie. Like, let's be so for real. But we're not going to jump to conclusions. I don't think the relationship's already over. I think we need a conversation first and foremost. Now, the top comments on this post. Let's check some out. Someone commented, "Sure seems like she pretended the trip was happening to do something else with someone else. That is your worst case assumption, right? If so, what's her plan? keep pretending she went, keep you in the dark, hope no friend outs her. Pretty stupid. If she's seeing someone else, she should just dump you. OOP wrote back, yeah, that is my assumption. I don't really see any other reason why she would have pretended the trip was still planned. Even if I misunderstood the timeline of the trip getting canceled, like if that Venmo payment was for something else, I'd assumed she would have told me when I texted her the morning of her flight. Right! She never got on the flight! Because it's only 30 minutes away where she's at. You're like, have a good flight, and she liked it. You know you're not getting on a flight. Just piece that together. I didn't, they didn't. Next comment. I don't like to just assume the worst, but I don't see why she didn't mention the trip was canceled unless she was up to something she didn't want you to know about. Especially if she'd known for over 2 weeks, but was hyping up how thrilled she was to go the weekend before. But then again, she posted the concert she was at, so she wasn't exactly being too careful. I'm not sure. Could it just be a case of poor miscommunication? OOP wrote back, exactly why I'm so confused. Like, if she was purposely lying to me and trying to hide where she was, why would she post the show? Especially the last clip mentioning the city name. Was she just assuming I wouldn't know what the show was? Maybe she's just trying to get me to break up with her. I'm really lost, but I feel like I'm gaslighting myself. It definitely wasn't miscommunication. When I tried to plan the date the day before her flight, I specifically mentioned the trip and she said nothing. And I wished her a safe flight the morning of the flight, so I really just don't know. We got updates, obviously. The first update came October 16th, 2.5 weeks later. So here we are, almost a month later. I was a wreck and spiraling these past few weeks, and after being together for almost 2 years, I was too panicked to reach out and ask to see her. During the 3 weeks since her planned trip... What? During the 3 weeks since her planned trip, she hasn't reached out to me once. Are y'all dating? That doesn't even make any sense at all. 3 weeks of not talking to your boyfriend. She might have another boyfriend. That was until yesterday, when she casually reached out to me, like we hadn't just ignored each other for 3 weeks, and asked to see a movie. So I finally just saw her tonight. In the car, I asked about her trip. Her facial response was really weird, and it's like I caught her off guard. I'm guessing she was expecting me to forget about it after a few weeks of not seeing her. She just said it was okay, which instantly confirmed my suspicions. I asked her what she had done, and she said she went to the conference one day, which, as I said in my last post, it was canceled, and went to a show before returning home the day after I made my original post. I asked her which, and she claimed the show was in our local city. I was driving at the time and it was dark out, so I waited to confront her as I didn't want to get emotional and endanger us. I confronted her for lying about the trip, doubling down and lying about the conference, and tripling down to lie about the show. Well, yeah, because she's saying the show was in the place where the conference was. Her immediate response was to start deflecting, saying that if this is making me upset, to imagine how she felt that her conference and trip was canceled. Am I supposed to feel bad for you that your conference and trip was canceled? I don't understand. She kept saying that she doesn't owe it to me or anybody else to tell us about her business and what's going on in her life. I, of course, called her out for gaslighting me, to which her response was that she was not gaslighting me. Kind of ironic, I guess. When I talked about how it made me feel and that she damaged my trust for her, she again tried to belittle my feelings by rolling her eyes and saying that it was only a show. This conversation ended up opening to a much bigger issue in our relationship that I didn't mention in my last post. Generally, Amy treated me really poorly throughout the relationship. Yeah, I gathered that. Yeah. She was hot and cold, put zero effort into communication, and it never felt like she made me a priority. She'd given me zero affection or compliments despite drooling and crushing over male celebrities all day. She's made little effort to connect me and her family and friends. We've talked about all of this a few times now. She would always say she was overwhelmed with some new excuse and would promise that it would get better. I would cave in and agree to work through things. As expected, things never got better. This time was the same, where she blamed a new job for being overwhelmed, and that's why she's been so distant. But this time was different. I guess her blatant lie to my face and your guys' comments in the back of my mind gave me power to put my foot down. I broke up with her then and there. She kept begging me for one more chance to think on it for a few days, that she cares about me and didn't intend to hurt me, all of that nonsense, but the whole time I was the one bawling and there wasn't a tear on her face. It really broke my heart ending things, but I've also really grown to hate myself for putting up with her treatment for so long. I'm hurting a lot right now and I'm scared to get back into the dating world after 2 years of aging and some weight gain. I really loved her with every bit of my heart and I'm terrified to picture my life without her. I really want to call her up and give her one final chance to get things right, but I know I would never forgive myself if she didn't change and she broke my heart again. I'm hurting badly and I could really use some words of encouragement at this time. But the story doesn't end there and we got some more details coming. So let's take a sip of water first. Okay, we gotta hydrate and then we'll get back to the drama. Cheers. This is a pinned comment on that of OOP on having better communication with his ex prior to her trip. Apparently, people might just be on his case about communication. So OOP wrote all of this information. Sorry if I was a bit unclear. The trip was only supposed to be 4 days. She never ended up going though, of course, hence what I first confronted her about. She was in our hometown the entire time, presumably sleeping at her own house. She lives with her family, unless she was cheating on me. While I did ask her what she was doing during what should have been her trip and during those 3 weeks of no contact, I didn't have the heart to ask if she was cheating, and I also knew she would deny it even if she was. Maybe I'm naive, but I genuinely don't think she was cheating on me. While she treated me like trash and didn't seem like she cared much about me. Okay, so 2 points of why she would have easily cheated on you, but maybe she didn't. She might not have. She never struck me as somebody capable of cheating and has been cheated on before. She's also not a very physical, open person and struggles to be intimate with anybody that she's not dating. Her reason for lying about the trip was that she was feeling really sad that she didn't get to go and didn't want to talk about it. To me, that's such a BS excuse. She could have just told me that she didn't go but is hurting and didn't want to talk about it. I don't think I'll ever know why she didn't tell me the truth, but that's something I'll just have to live with. In a way, I'm glad that she lied to me. It helped me snap out of things and break up with her. If she told me the truth about the trip off the bat, I was prepared to talk to her about the 3 weeks of silence and her emotional neglect and try to repair our relationship again for probably the 8th or 9th time now. So I guess it was a good thing that she lied to me. Her reason for not contacting me during those 3 weeks was that she has been overwhelmed with her first real job that she started approximately 1.5 months before the 3 weeks of silence. She did send me a handful, maybe 10 TikToks during that time through TikTok, not text message, but I would consider that more breadcrumbing than actually reaching out. If she got time to send you a TikTok, she got time to text you, brother. Yeah, if she can spend time scrolling, she can't spend time seeing her literal partner. Wild. Early on in our relationship, she would spam me with dozens of TikToks when she was thinking about me, so sending one every few days during the silence felt like a sad attempt to keep me around. Admittedly, this isn't the first time she's gone a few weeks without contacting me. There have been other times where I felt like this relationship was one-sided, so I stopped reaching out to see if she would contact me. In most of the cases, she wouldn't contact me for a few weeks. But there's always some big excuse. Her grandma was sick and in the hospital. She was doing interviews for a new job, final exams, etc., etc. I will admit that I know she shuts down under stress and tends to isolate a lot, but I've talked with her about this a few times before, and every time she told me, she promised that she would work on it. She also had no issue seeing her friends many times while overwhelmed and isolating. I'm not sure that me not asking her if she's cheated boils down to bad communication from me, but everyone is allowed their opinion, I guess. I will admit that not contacting her myself for those 3 weeks isn't exactly great communication, but after 2 years of doing what I felt was the absolute best for communication and her not reciprocating, I guess I was feeling a bit burnt out. Yeah, like you guys aren't even dating though. Like, is that even a relationship if you're going weeks without talking and you're expressing what you need from this relationship and nothing's changing, you might as well be single. I didn't explicitly ask her if she was cheating, but I did imply it by asking what she was doing during that weekend that she felt she needed to hide. That is when she deflected, telling me how she spent that time sad about the trip, despite going to the show. I did ask her what she was doing for those 3 weeks. Of course, she said she was working her normal 9-to-5 job, and she works a part-time job in the evenings twice a week. She gave me a few examples of other things she did, times where she hung out with friends. She spent a weekend at her best friend's house an hour south, which I can confirm that she did that from social media. A doctor's appointment, etc. Oh my gosh, she's got time for a lot of things but you. She didn't give me a full agenda of what she was doing, nor did I expect her to, as I'm not her babysitter, but she probably named 4 different times she hung out with friends, plus her 2 evening jobs per week and the doctor's appointment. Well, that does give us some more clarity on the situation, but my opinion and feelings do not change. It doesn't make any sense to me, truly. Even if she was sad about the what? Okay, then go tell your partner you're sad that you're not going on the trip. Like, what are you even talking about? And you lied to him and you said you went to the conference. What? We do have a final update here, thank goodness. And this one came 1 week later on October 23rd. Like you all suggested, I removed Amy on social media. I did it really late one night when I couldn't sleep, a few hours after she normally sleeps. I woke up about 5 hours later for work, around the time when she woke up, and decided I should block her so I don't get ever tempted to look at her profiles or give her a chance to contact me. She already beat me to the punch and blocked me first thing in the morning. I'm not sure how to block her when I'm blocked, but I guess this gets the job done. I wanted to address one comment. A lot of people are asking why I originally said our relationship was pretty good and then I waited to drop the bombshell of everything until my update. Honestly, I just wanted unbiased opinions on the original situation, like if there was any reason why somebody in a healthy relationship would not have told me about the trip cancellation. I was naive and hoping that there would be some reasoning that I wasn't seeing and that we could work through this issue. I knew that Amy had been treating me poorly outside of this issue, but it felt like her treatment of me was kind of on the upswing and that we are growing closer. Until she stonewalled me for 3 weeks after my first post. Reflecting back, there were always times when she briefly treated me well to pull me back in. I'd guess that's what's going on recently, but who knows? And to the people suggesting that we aren't actually in a relationship, I'm people who said you guys aren't really dating. I know you're dating, but I'm like, are you dating? And that I belong, what? And that I belong in a psych ward? Thanks, appreciate that. But no. Okay, I don't think you belong in a psych ward. When we were still seeing each other, as in after a few dates, I specifically asked her to be exclusive and she said yes. Once I felt ready, I sat her down, told her how much I cared about her, and I asked her to be my girlfriend. She agreed, and we have been boyfriend and girlfriend ever since. We've posted each other on Valentine's Day and both had pictures of each other on social media. When talking to others, she would introduce me as her boyfriend. We've been on weekend trips away together with my friends. Early on, we had conversations about what we want in terms of kids, marriage, where to live, etc. to make sure we were on the same page. While I might have been naive and had heavy rose-tinted glasses, I am not some psycho stalker. Oh, I was not getting this vibe. Were you? No, I took it that you guys were in a relationship. She knew we were in a relationship, treated me like crap, acknowledged that my feelings were valid all the times that I brought up her treatment of me, and when I broke up with her, she begged me to take a few days to reconsider. This wasn't some fantasy you would see in a creepy movie. I'm doing okay. I was really sad for the first 2 days, but that passed. I'm still in pain, grieving, and thinking about her, but there is some relief from all the comments reinforcing that I made the right choice. Things are hard right now, but I know I've made the best choice for me and my well-being. All right, who picked up psycho stalker vibes and that you thought they weren't as serious as he was making it sound? Not me. I took it as in you guys are in a full-on relationship. So, interesting perspectives on this story. Let me know what yours was. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy.